AI and SEO webinar. And then don't click on the paid ads. So we don't do paid ads. I don't really believe in that. Go to, you're going to find Boulder SEO Marketing, right? The first organic search result. Who has found the Boulder SEO? Okay. Guess how long, so it's about a webinar that we're hosting on April 24th. Guess how long this page has been up and running? Since ChatGPT. So I immediately built a landing page, AI and SEO webinar, because I realized there's going to be a lot of people searching for this search term. So we're hosting now a webinar every 3 months because a lot of people interested in AI and SEO stuff, and people like to get free stuff, so we do free webinars. For me, those are leads, right? So the AI and SEO webinar, we get anywhere from like 300 to 600 people signed up, which translates to basically free leads, right? This thing is now up there. It will be up there forever. Do a search for SEO Training Denver. SEO Training Denver. I think we're the second search result because the first is now a directory where we're also listed at, but you should see it's a press release. Who has found it? SEO Training Denver. Guess how long that press release has been on the internet? Forever. Since I started this business by doing trainings and workshops in Boulder and Denver. And I realized after I did the first training, it's like, oh, I'm going to do this again. People are paying me money to listen to me. So I'm like, I'll do another training. So what I do now, I simply update the evergreen piece of content. I just slap a new date on there. I occasionally update the content because we're talking about new stuff. This is exactly Dennis's point. I'm lazy, to be honest. So if I can get a quick win by creating a lot of evergreen content on my website, it is so easy and you get so many leads and it's working so well. So this is exactly Dennis's point. So thank you, Dennis, for teeing me up. All right. So we'll talk more about Agentic AI. I will show you how this Micro SEO stuff works. And this is also what Dennis spoke about, how to identify what's already working on your website, make it better. So I'm going to show you exactly how it works. And then Dennis, you put me to shame by giving all your cool stuff away for free. So I made the stuff that I wanted to sell. It's for free. So that code is going to work. We're going to cover a lot of information in a short amount of time. But you will get access for free to that course so that, Katie, try it on your location page. It works so well. So this is a continuation of Dennis's presentation here. All right. You know me at this point, my claim to fame. All right. 2021, Google unleashed a core algorithm update. We had been so busy doing SEO stuff for our clients, we completely neglected the SEO for our website. Rightfully, we got hit. We lost 80% of our organic search traffic. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But it was also the greatest thing that ever happened to me in terms of SEO. We only relied on organic leads because as an SEO company, that's what I want to be known for, right? So we didn't do paid ads, anything else. So it was a bit of a shock, but it forced me to really go back to the drawing board and rethink everything. How we do SEO, what is working, why and how to get there fast. So I developed, I think I spent like 3 days in my room. I developed Micro SEO Strategies. If you do a search for Micro SEO, that's another one of these evergreen pages. There's more and more people searching for this Micro SEO stuff. You'll find a guide that I wrote about this methodology. I don't have a lot of time, so I highly recommend, if you want to take advantage of this methodology, read that guide and then watch that half-day course that you will now have access to for free. Okay, so again, it's a fast-paced presentation. You're going to learn a lot. By the way, congrats for attending this conference. I have learned so much already, so I think everybody's going to walk away with incredible information from listening to many speakers that are here. Okay, so this stuff works. I used this example yesterday. We identified on the Suerte Tequila website a page that was already ranking well, but it was ranking on page 2 for search terms like Blanco Tequila, etc. That's exactly what Dennis spoke about before, right? So we use a tool called SE Ranking. We scan the website for what we call low-hanging fruit opportunities, keywords that have high intent, a decent search volume, and you're not already in the top 3 positions. Why? It's way easier to take something from page 2 to page 1 than from nowhere to page 1, right? Creating new content, it takes a lot of time, resources, costs money, and there's no guarantee that you will succeed. So if you have a website that's been up and running for, a year plus, I guarantee you have low-hanging fruit opportunities, and you're wasting time by creating a lot of content, new content that you're hoping is gonna rank. So hopefully, you'll take advantage of this methodology that I'm sharing here today. All right, we're going to talk about stuff. So this is now for free. So simply scan the QR code. I'm leaving up there for a second. I think at the end I have this QR code again, and then just use code DMCS, stands for DigiMarCon Seattle, DMCS. It's about 3 or 4 hours of me walking through this methodology in great detail. Okay. Again, I believe we're at the very beginning of this AI craziness, so the only constant thing is going to be change. At least I think we understand what's happening with digital marketing out there. So I encourage you to continue to attend conferences like DigiMarCon. They do an incredible good job like putting the right people on stage, and actually I love the sequence, how everything makes sense. This is truly incredible. So I think everybody's going to get a lot of really good information out of this, and at least you're going to be able to keep up with this whole AI craziness that's happening. Google is feeling the heat. They are unleashing more and more core algorithm updates in a shorter amount of time. Why? Because they haven't figured out the whole AI thing yet. Massive amounts of content are flooding the internet. Google hates to spend money. They love making money. So they have to figure out how can they de-index spun content. Because most people, not us, most people, they will just go to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever and do one prompt. Hey, write me a blog post about this. Maybe they do 2 or 3 prompts, but it's not going to work. So Google will continue to improve its algorithm, and if you're thinking about putting up AI generated content, if you're thinking about gaming the system, if you think you're smart enough to just use AI to get rankings, guess what? They have a lot more money than we do. They put a lot of resources into their algorithm because that's how they make money. Google loves making money. They hate spending money. They don't care about us. They care about making money. That's why we need to do the right thing and put up content that actually gets to rank. All right. Finally, SEO is dead. So contextual, multi-platform content creation, optimization, and distribution. That is the formula. That's what you have to do, and we're going to show you how to do it. All right. Back in 2015, Google kicked off machine learning, AI as part of the rank brain algorithm update, and then it's probably something you know a lot more than I do about. The transformer technology was released as part of the BERT, B-E-R-T, core algorithm update. And I'm not going to bore you with too much technical information, but the transformer technology, I think Google open sourced that technology, and that's the underlying thing that powers all of the AI stuff that we're seeing now. Generative, pre-trained, transformer. So basically, OpenAI took advantage of that technology that I think Google invented, and they made it available to anybody out there. And I was actually shocked that, again, Google was caught with their pants down, that they didn't put their technology to work, that actually OpenAI was the first to come out with a GPT. Yeah. All right, so fast forward from 2015 to 2022, boom, all of a sudden Google was scrambling. Massive amounts of crappy content, just spun content, was created using ChatGPT, right? So immediately Google had to unleash the scaled content abuse policy, where guess what? They had to tell people like us, hey, if you put up crappy AI content, it's not going to work. We're actually going to penalize you. We may de-index your website. So again, please don't just put up crappy AI-generated content. It will harm your website, such as this client that we told not to do it, right? And they thought they were smarter than us in Google. And this is the result. This website will never recover. They're very sad now. Okay. So Google is feeling the heat. So they will continue to improve their algorithm. They also will have to include other search engines in their search engine. It was a big deal like 3, 4 something years ago. I don't think they were able to scrape Facebook. I think they can, actually I've seen it happen, they can now scrape the content on Facebook. So that's one of their biggest challenges, right? They get the concept of CMP, CCOAD, they understand it. They know that they have to be able to scrape Reddit, Quora, Facebook, Twitter, stupid X, whatever it's called, etc., to keep people on their platform, because that's how they make money. They don't want people to go to Reddit and search for, you know, what is the best time to hike Mount Kilimanjaro. They want people to know that if I do a search in Google, that Google will do the job for me and scan everything possible that's available on the internet. That's how they're going to continue to make money. All right, so my wife and I, we're gonna hike Kilimanjaro in September. I have a question. I probably gave it away. What do you think is the best tool to find out what platform you need to be in as part of this CM methodology? What is the best tool that you can use to find out if you need to create content on other platforms? Okay. Huh? What tool would give away the answer? So let's say I'm an outfitter. I'm one of these people that I'm paying a lot of money to take me up safely to Kilimanjaro. How could somebody like that find out where they need to post content? Just do a Google search and see what's ranking, right? If it's just websites, then I know I need to create killer content about, you know, attracting people like me to get to their website. So if you do a search for, you know, best time to hike Mount Kilimanjaro, I think the third, fourth results, it's all places like Reddit, Quora, TripAdvisor. So I now know for a fact that if I'm one of these outfitters, I need to put content up on these platforms. That's the methodology with those many letters. It's really simple, right? Because they give away exactly all the information that we need to know. All right. We went over this yesterday. You know, these chatbots are taking a little bit of market share away from Google, but they're going to be the dominant search engine because they're figuring it out, right? They want to keep us on their platform because now they're able to scrape all these other places and then show us the content that's relevant to us. All right, so the new SEO, GEO. It definitely is a new approach to SEO. This is why if you're an agency, you got to make that switch right now. Who has an agency in here? Okay. Have you thought about this already? What's your name? Steve. Yeah, so you got to change right now. This is what people are looking for. We're at the very beginning, so you do have a little bit of time to get on it. So GEO focuses, it's all about the content, creating high quality, you know, new content that's actually relevant, addresses what people are interested in, what they deal with. It's all about the content. Creating content is very difficult. Nobody has time for it, and everybody now thinks they can use the AI to make that problem go away. It's awesome. I'm finally excited again, not right now with what's going on globally, and you know, people are losing their jobs and the markets are shrinking, etc. But I think there's going to be a massive demand for, you know, people like us that understand what's happening and how to create content that actually has a chance to rank. So this is what GEO is all about, in my opinion. So Google's current stance on AI-generated content. So there's a time and place for AI-generated content. If you are a e-commerce website, maybe have a widget on, you know, the products pages or whatever, that will create AI-generated summaries, stuff like that. So try to think outside of the box. How can you use AI to generate content that actually has a purpose and that's not going to impact your website or your rankings? So it's totally fine to use AI to generate content as part of your digital presence, but you know, go with your common sense, right? I'm actually shocked how little common sense is out there. It's like less and less. People are just getting lazier and lazier. And believe me, I'm very lazy, but I understand that I think I need to do a good job here to be successful. So use common sense, but make sure, take advantage of AI and put it up on your website where you can do it in the right way. Chatbots, where, you know, in the panel, I brought up the example of IBM. I listened to the CEO, and he talked about how they use AI. They built a custom language model. They uploaded all the information on HR stuff. They have been able, I think, they've been able to get rid of a lot of people because the AI is answering information. It's on the website, it's probably on an intranet. But those are like some examples of use cases where you can take advantage of AI in creating content. All right. I highly recommend that you read Google's content creation guidelines. That's basically the Bible. Follow these rules. Again, Dennis and I had a conversation over beers last night, and we're probably a little bit more advanced than most people in terms of SEO, but all we do is like the simple stuff. Would you agree?
All day.
Yeah.
The basics, that's it.
Like there's no magic to this. We just follow the rules, and if you do that, you will be successful. There's no switch. All of a sudden you're like, you switch it and then you're number one. Just follow the rules and like put in the work, and it works. I'm actually shocked. All right, so content needs to be created for real people. A human being has to write it. I'm going to show you how to use AI to create the outline that a human then can create. But put yourself in the shoes of the person that you want to get to your website. Do you want to show them thin, fluff, crappy content? How is that going to resonate with them, right? 99% of the internet's content is terrible. It really is, right? So it's not that hard to create something that's better than 99% of everything that's out there. And if you do that, you will be so successful. And you now have access to that course, and it really is not that hard. So demonstrate, we've been talking about EEAT for many occasions now. This is going to be your differentiator. So do digital PR, take advantage of platforms like featured.com. When you speak at conference like this, I'm going to do a quick podcast with Dennis, with Steve. I'm going to create content. I'm going to whip out my phone. I'm going to use a tool called riverside.fm. If you don't know about this tool, you got to take advantage of this tool. I'm going to hold it up there, and I'm going to talk with Steve and Dennis and hopefully other people about new things that I learned. Then you can, that's really good new content that you can put up on your website. I can transcribe it. I will use the AI to write a blog post about it. I will probably also use the AI to write a press release about it. I'm going to send out the press release using a tool called prlog.org. prlog.org. It's going to cost me $49. It's going to be sent out to hundreds of publications. Probably hundreds will pick it up, and I'm going to include a link to the page on my website where the interview resides. So I'm creating backlinks. All right. This stuff is really not that difficult. It takes a little bit of time, but even if you just do that, you will see tremendous results. So it's all about content marketing, creating not crappy content, but good content that actually resonates with people out there. All right, I showed you these examples before. You need to, especially our SEO agencies here, this is for you. You gotta adapt or die. I think people are catching on. If SEO agencies continue to offer the old SEO, they're gonna go out of business because it's not gonna continue to work anymore. All right, so that's how much time do you have? 15 minutes. All right, so AI-assisted micro SEO strategies. It's a hyper-focused approach to content marketing and SEO, where we use a lot of AI for the purpose of research. Okay, the methodology centers around identifying low-hanging fruit opportunities, because creating new content, it takes way too long. It's too expensive. So what we do, we run a website through SE ranking, and then we identify, these low-hanging fruit keyword opportunities, keywords that have high intent, that have a decent amount of search volume, and where we not already rank in the top 3 positions, or whatever your threshold is for dealing with this stuff, right? It's way easier to get a page from a piece of content from page 2 or 3 into the top 10. It's just, that's the way it is, right? So why not do something that's easier than do something that's really hard? Then we do in-depth analysis of top-ranking competitors. It's called a SERP analysis. So we developed this AI agent called BSM Copilot, where we trained an AI to do that, right? So not too long ago, I paid 3 people to do the analysis manually. And then we created this AI agent, and then I was able to sadly let them go because the tool does a way better job, way faster, and it's costing me way less money. And that's just the reality. So I recommend, like when you go back to work, create a Google Sheet, and then whatever you do, write down what it is, and if it's manual. If you have a lot of manual things on there, you're gonna have to rethink your position or how you need to upskill, because this is reality. I think a lot of people don't get it quite yet. I think a lot of people will lose their work in the near time frame. So this is reality. I think I understand it, and hopefully that message is loud and clear. All right. Then, so we create the best piece of content on the internet in relation to usually 3 to 5 closely related search terms that this piece of content is already ranking for. We call those the North Star keywords. And then we also create supporting content that can be an interview that I'm doing with Steve or Dennis or somebody else, where I include some of these keywords and I link from that blog post where the video is embedded to that pillar page, right? Just to give you an idea how this stuff works. And then I will do digital PR. I've been doing this stuff for like 15, 16 something years. I still do the same thing and it still works. Shocking. All right, so here's an example of, if we take a look at the Boulder SEO Marketing website, ran the website to SE ranking. Look at that. Local SEO guide. There's a lot of local businesses needing help with their SEO. So I created this guide a while back. We're now at position 6 for, it's a decent search volume keyword. Right now, position 6, I probably get about, 5 to 6% of all the clicks. The click-through rate dramatically goes down. If you're not in the top 3, you're invisible, okay? So this is a perfect example of a low-hanging fruit keyword. And Katie, you guys have a lot, right? I think both Dennis and I did the analysis. You're sitting on a gold mine. So this would be a low-hanging fruit keyword opportunity. It's like, why in the world am I wasting time and not optimizing for this keyword? So then this is SE ranking. I quickly do an analysis of the search term. I want to make sure, it's not completely competitive. So it's pretty doable difficulty. There's a lot of people searching for this keyword. The tool also gives me keyword ideas, like similar keywords, etc. This is really easy to do, I tell you. This takes no time. And if you use a tool like SE ranking, I know you're like Ahrefs. It doesn't matter. They all do the same thing, right? It's like these chat things. They do the same stuff. Again, SE Ranking is offering a month-long free trial. I'm a brand ambassador for them. It's a Ukrainian company, so I like to promote them as much as I can. So take them for a spin. All right. This is what I'm partially discussing in the half-day workshop. I recommend don't listen to me right after this because you've been listening to me for a lot. So take a break. Also recommend have a glass of beer or wine or whatever. But we're gonna, in that half-day workshop, we're talking about the keyword research stuff that I just showed you, how you're able to identify a low-hanging fruit opportunity on your website. Give it a try, right? If you want to give me money and hire us, I have no problem with that, but why not? Give it a try, right? It's so easy. So in the workshop, we talk about keyword research, identifying those low-hanging fruit opportunities. I spent 6 days developing these prompts that you will get access to the prompting sheet. I spent a lot of time doing this. I tested everything, and it works. So you will, following that spreadsheet and the prompts, you will see how to do the AI overview analysis. We basically scrape the information from the AI overview because it's the most important information in relation to a search term. So we know for a fact it's something that we need to include on our piece of content, okay? Then we do a SERP analysis, competitor analysis. What do they have on their web page? You know, it's probably stuff that we need to include as well on our web page. Then, and I'll show you the example of an outline. Once we have the outline for the piece of content, we do page wireframing, make it look nice, you know, structure it in a nice way. Then we create the content. A real human being with expertise in that field is going to write the content. Then, you know, we do graphic, infographic design, title, description, keywords, just like very basic stuff that, you know, anybody can do, or you can even let the AI do that stuff. Put the page on the website, index it through Google Search Console so that Google doesn't have to go out there and discover it. Yeah, so just go to Google Search Console once that page is up or updated. Put it in there, hit enter, and then you submit it to Google's database. It's indexed, right? Then we usually do a technical functional audit using SE Rankings audit function. We fix what has to be fixed. We do schema implementation, internal linking. We use AI now to create outlines for supporting content, and then to get into other platforms, you know, see where people are talking about the stuff that you know, put that content up for, and then do social media. We use AI to do all the social media content. We create content for LinkedIn using AI. It's totally fine to use AI to create content for these other platforms. I don't want to waste my time creating high quality human content because I know it ranks for a fact based on what I showed you yesterday with the Avis damage scam thing where I primarily used AI. Yeah, so this is the methodology. This was a very, very, very manual process. These are all the steps, or some of them, right? We developed this BSM Copilot AI agent. It sits on top of ChatGPT, Perplexity. We use any large language model, whatever we want to use. So it eliminated, it does now the job, all these white boxes. That's now what the tool does, right? Imagine the time savings that we have accomplished. We're now able to do more in less time for less money. That's a very competitive advantage. This slide, very important. Yeah. So when we develop content, I have about 4 minutes. It's very important what we discussed here on the panel, that we feed the AI with really good information about the company, the buyer personas, the project goals, branding, messaging guidelines, all the stuff that's sort of like common sense. If you want to create a piece of content that's going to resonate with a certain person and you want them to take an action, just let it know what you want the content to do, right? Then these are many of the steps that I already showed as part of the bullet points there. Let me show you it's in a Google spreadsheet, so you will get access to this prompting spreadsheet. It's pretty long, so make sure watch the video if you don't want to mess up the prompting. And I'm sure somebody like Dennis will be able to make this way more simpler, but it works, right? So these are some of the prompts. It's just like you communicate with this tool and tell it, hey, now make sure to apply Google's EEAT guidelines. And now make sure here's the link to Google's helpful content guidelines. So we tell it exactly what to do, and it does it. My kids talk back to me. This thing does not. It's like, I'm so excited to help you, Chris. Let's do it. All right. So this content outline was created using what I'm teaching in that half-day workshop that you now have access to. So the AI spat out this outline that we check, right? There's a little back and forth, make sure there's no hallucination. That it's actually an incredible outline. It has everything in there that a human writer needs to have in order to create an incredible piece of content that will actually rank at the top in Google. And that's the method to the madness. Over. Yeah, for weekly SEO tips, just scan that QR code. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. Questions, concerns? Either you're all shocked or it totally made sense, right? Yeah.
Well, I had a question, but you answered it.
Oh, feel free to ask again if it makes sense.
No, my question was if you can also use AI to be able to check yourself for those, so you're not crossing those guidelines and getting penalized on your website. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the back and forth. Yeah, that's very good question.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people actually don't do that because we're lazy. Like, it's like, oh, the AI gave me something. It must be amazing. No, question it, run it through another AI and said, hey, Perplexity, I used ChatGPT. Please check, make sure it's correct. You know what Ananya spoke about? That's exactly what we do on a very small scale. Check, double check, triple check. Yeah, great question.
Is Google taking into consideration anything that's happening in Gmail, in email, on the email
Oh,
platform?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's, you're probably referring to the latest thing where, if you're an e-commerce company, you can actually, they just put out a email address where you can email Google so that they can subscribe to your email newsletter. I think that's what you're referring to. Absolutely. So if you're an e-commerce company, yeah, thanks for the reminder. If you're an e-commerce company, just do a Google search so that you can have Google subscribe to your email newsletter, because they're going to include that information in Google Merchant Center to serve better AI-generated content to your target audience. Yeah, so they take a look at Gmail and everything. Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah. So they have access to Gmail. I'm not an expert on that, but they take a look at everything. That's why you get retargeted based on the conversations that you have in your Gmail. Yeah.
They say no, supposedly, but I don't.
Supposedly, yeah. All right, and I'm here. Feel free, hit me up. Happy to answer questions. Yeah.
All right, let's give him a round of applause.